The pages of the calendar turn. We anticipate the end of 2019 and the opening of the new year, 2020. But today, we celebrate the opening of a new liturgical year with the first Sunday of Advent. It is time to reflect on what lies ahead with the mystery of Christmas less than 4 weeks away. How will we honor this Advent? The first thing we need to do is relax. We need to take time away from our smartphones and computers, take a rest from endless messages, texts, online sales. How can we celebrate this time? We begin here at St. Stephen's with the ritual of the Advent wreath. We have lit the first candle and watch it glow. We observe the other 3 yet unlit candles. It is a quiet time. Isaiah reminds us that the mountains of God's house will be established as the highest mountain and raised above the hills, a mountain established by peace, not by conquest. Isaiah lived in a time not unlike our own. In the 7th century BCE, the Israelite nation was divided in 2, Israel in the north, Judah in the south, with Jerusalem as the capital. Isaiah proclaimed the word from Judah as both nations were being threatened by the Assyrians. Again, we cannot help but see the similarity to our own country. We too have a division, not geographically, but in terms of our ideals and objectives. The blue and the red, the pro-impeachment and the anti-impeachment, the threat of terrorists similar to the ancient Assyrians. We recall Isaiah, who was an eminently practical prophet. They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. How important these words. But how else will you celebrate Advent? Let me tell you how I will. I will be giving tours at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts called Winter Lights. It is a tour that brings us to the heart of this time of year, not just for Christians, but for people throughout the world. Thankfully, I am not here to persuade you to come on one of my tours, but I do want to share with you the richness of how other religions and other cultures celebrate this time. I begin with the festival in India, the Festival of Lights, Diwali. The festival celebrates Ganesha, god of music, dance, and good fortune. The head of Ganesha is that of an elephant. You may have seen some of the sculptures at the museum. The Hindu legend states that Ganesha was killed as a young boy. His mother sent his servants out and told them to bring back the first living thing they found, so that they could give Ganesha, she could give Ganesha a new head. The first thing they found was an elephant. They brought back the elephant, and that is why Ganesha has the head of an elephant. But it is also the sign of wisdom, because the elephant's head is so large, it can hold many ideas. The Buddhists celebrate Bodhi Day, the Day of Enlightenment, on December 8th, every year. It calls the time when Siddhartha sat under the Bodhi tree, a fig tree, searching for enlightenment. The Buddhists continue this quest today and celebrate this time throughout much of Asia, eating special foods, decorating trees with flags and many colored lights. Our Persian friends celebrate Yalda on the darkest night of the year. Friends and family gather together to eat, drink, and read poetry until well after midnight. What a marvelous idea to read poetry at a party. They eat pomegranates and watermelons, the color red, symbolizing new dawn and the glow of new life. Our Jewish friends celebrate Hanukkah, the festival of lights. This year, Hanukkah begins after sunset on December 22nd and continues until after sunset on December 30th. The Hanukkah lamp commemorates the time in the 2nd century BCE when the Jews rededicated the Temple of Jerusalem after the country had been occupied by the Greeks. Today, the Jewish families light one candle after sunset each evening and celebrate with special meals, and by giving the little dreidel, a small spinning toy, to the children. The dreidel has a Hebrew letter on each side of it, and they would use the little dreidel during the time of the occupation to teach the children the stories of the Bible through the letters that were on the dreidel. The most recent festival is that of Kwanzaa, founded by an African American in 1966 to reaffirm their place of dignity in the community and culture. It is a week-long celebration, each day honoring one of the 7 principles: unity, self-determination, collective work, cooperative economics, sense of purpose, creativity, and faith. That brings us to our own time of Christmas. On the tour, I show a small but amazing nativity scene by Fra Angelico, a treasure of the early 15th century Renaissance period. Fra Angelico shows such detail, even with the decaying stable, which he saw as a sign of the upending of the old era. And even one of the shepherds in the upper left-hand corner toppling over in surprise at hearing the news. A magnificent and inspiring work. Yes, it is a time for all of us to reflect. Matthew reminds us that even some of our celebrations can go a little too far, comparing them to the days before the flood in Noah's time, when people were eating and drinking, marrying and being married, suspecting nothing of the flood that was about to change their lives. Paul tells us that now is the hour to awaken from sleep, that our salvation is nearer than when we first believed. John Chittister asks, what is the star you are following? And where is that star in its present radiance in your life leading you? How will you answer?